Good morning, everybody, and a Merry Christmas to you. My name is Justin Rogers. We're here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV, and today we're going to be doing another EKKO. So this is going to be a 2026 Winnebago EKKO 23B. So as you know, the 23B is going to be the one that takes place on the Mercedes chassis. This one's going to be kind of unique because this is the first one of the new Desert Ridge paint scheme that they have to offer. So you still maintain the selenite paint job on the top, do a little black, burnt orange, silver, and then some cream down on the bottom. It's kind of shocking at first because we've only ever seen the selenite EKKOs or just the cream colored EKKOs when they don't have full body paint, but it kind of grows on you after a while. So we have gotten a little bit of, 50-50 split on whether people like it or not. So it's kind of nice. It is growing on me as well. So those of you that are new to the EKKO, the Winnebago EKKO is designed to be pretty much 3.5, 4-season camper. We sell a lot of these in the wintertime. We sell a lot of these in the springtime. It's a very capable off-road vehicle. So from the factory, the Mercedes does have a more ground clearance than the Ford chassis. Right now they're doing the BF Goodrich KO3 tires, so it gives it a little bit meatier of a tire. What's cool about the Mercedes is when they did that chassis rework, it became a twin-turbo 4-cylinder and it transitioned from a 4x4 to an all-wheel drive. So it makes it even more comfortable to drive during that rainy weather, the snowy weather, any of that inclement, as well as just a little bit more creature comforts. But it also helped up with the initial pickup speed coming from a dead stop. You don't have as much turbo lag like you did with that larger turbo on the V6. So it just makes it drive more like a car instead of a SUV or a truck like you used to have. So working your way around, you'll see a lot of things that Winnebago does. The side steps going in, you'll have the Winnebago logo etched into them. You'll have a pet leash on the front on both sides. That way you can tie an animal off to or tie a bike to. It just depends on whatever you need. In this compartment, or in the entry door right here, you'll have electric seats, heated seats, as well as memory seats. I did place the window visors up here just to demonstrate it. So they'll send you from the factory with insulated window covers just to block off this front portion if you want more privacy, but as well as keeping that heat or that cold out depending on what kind of climate that you're camping in. Working our way down the side, so one of the things that they just did halfway through the 26 years, they switched the compartment latches. So the old latches, if you've seen our videos before, were those like thumb latches, and if your compartment door was stuck from being sealed for a long time, it was kind of hard to grip them. So now you can actually have something you can pull onto, get your finger under, just to pull it apart a little bit and get a little bit better grip on that seal. In this first bay, it's just going to be a small storage bay. You can kind of see the level of thickness of the floor. You can also see that rubberized flooring down there, or the composite floor. That way you're not scratching it up, or it's easy to clean, anything like that. One of the cool things about all of their compartments is they're cut out from the actual sidewalls. So they are going to be really, really thick and insulated as well. So these latches still retain the compression feature when you twist them all the way, so it does suck itself close to that seal. In that compartment, you also saw the inverter in there, so that's going to be to run all of the electrical on that coach whenever you need to. What's cool about the EKKOs is they're pretty much an electric coach where everything runs off that inverter, and if you do have one with the generator, that generator's sole purpose is to charge the lithium battery that's on that. So the next spot we're going to cover is going to be steps. So you do have an electric step that comes in and out automatically. We do have the engine running just for a minute to charge up the battery a little bit. When you put it in drive, this engine will suck in automatically, and when we turned that motor on, the awning that we had staged closed itself automatically. So again, just a couple safety features that they implement in the EKKO. You'll have a nice thick entry door here. The key fob for Mercedes will actually lock and unlock this entry door as well as the front door, so that is unique to the Mercedes chassis. You'll have a screen door with a bunch of metal in it, so you'll have metal plates for the sliding portion. You'll also have metal screen there and then bug screen behind that, just to help keep animals inside, outside, anything like that. That way you can have a lot of ventilation if you choose to have your windows open, screen open, and you don't have to worry about your cat or your dog or getting out or anything like that. In the stairwell, you'll have another little composite flooring section there. Again, very easy to clean. And it gives you a good indication of how thick the floor is in these, because they want these to be as insulated as possible. So one of the cool things about the EKKO is all of your water systems, tanks, and everything like that are on the inside. So you don't have to worry about stuff being underneath. Next compartment is just going to be another small storage compartment. You can see the black louvers in there. That's just going to be where you get passive airflow in here. So this compartment's not going to be just a cold spot. It'll be close to the same temperature of the interior of the motorhome. That way it's just, you know, promoting the insulation factor there. You'll have a spot outside for 12-volt TV as well as coax. And then you'll also have 2 outlets up above that. And you can see that they put the extra effort in to actually paint these pieces instead of just leaving them black like you get with a lot of other manufacturers. If you pan up a little bit, Jody, so you can see the Carefree armless awning up there. So you do have a light bar built into the exterior of it instead of on the roll itself. So that allows you to have a double porch light set up at night, give you a little bit more ambient lighting out there. And makes it a little bit nicer. So this Carefree awning does have a wind sensor in it. So the wind sensors and awnings are seismic, so they sense movement. So if it starts vibrating a little bit and it hits a certain range of motion, it's gonna suck itself in to help protect itself, just so you don't have to think about it as much and be as worried. Below that, you're gonna have these 2 windows. So what's cool about the Winnebago EKKO windows is they're similar to the Revel, where they're a dual pane acrylic window. And they have multiple tilt out levels. So we'll demo the degrees of tilt out once we get to the inside of them. But again, dual pane windows, very, very well insulated, but also very easy to clean and everything like that. So moving back a little bit more, you're gonna have your Truma AquaGo. So this is gonna be your continuous hot water. Down below that, you're gonna have propane. So you'll have 2 20-pound propane tanks. They are gonna be your standard grill tanks. So very easy to exchange, replace, fill, anything like that. You don't have that chassis mounted tank where you have to go to designated RV fill up places and have that limitation. You can just bring a couple extra tanks if you're gonna do some extended cold camping or if you're doing like any extended stay. That way propane won't be your limiting factor. What's gonna run off the propane is the continuous hot water, your LP generator, if you have it, as well as your Truma Vario furnace on the inside. So those will be the 3 sources that pull off propane in here. If you want to hook up a little exterior grill, you'll have a quick connection down here. So that way you don't have to bring, again, that little separate Coleman tank or whatever your favorite camping gear is. You can just tie directly into your propane tanks on the RV and not have to waste storage on the little propane tank there. So next is going to be the main reason why people buy EKKOs. So this rear storage compartment acts kind of like a gear hauler. So this is insulated, heated, and enclosed. You do have that composite flooring, a little lips just to stop things from sliding around, a rubber tray in here, as well as all your tie downs that you can adjust in each of the spots. And you have tie downs on all 4 corners. So if you want to put bikes, skis, snowboards, anything like that. Right now we're approaching ski season and snowboard season, so there is outlets and 12-volt power back here. So if you want to have like a heated boot locker or charge like heated snow boots, anything like that, you can plug them up back here. That way you don't have to bring those into like your shower or something like that. On your storage doors on both sides, you'll have molly panels. So that's just going to be a modular storage system that you can hang stuff on and just have as much storage as your heart desires back here. So now we're to the back. So we have a couple things going on back here. This one was equipped with the Batwing awning. So the Batwing awning will start on that driver's side about halfway up, and it'll go 270 degrees around to the back of the motorhome. So what's cool about this is you'll have that main patio awning on the passenger side or the camp side, and you'll have this Batwing awning to cover all of this. It's lower to the ground, it's mounted into the frame, it's gonna have a lot more bracing and support in it. So if it's windy, rainy, snowing, you can have this one out when you have to have that other one closed. And one of the cool things that's unique to it is it actually has a support leg you can do here and bring it down and anchor that to the ground, but it also has tie downs on each one of the poles so you can really secure it to the ground depending on what your needs are. It has a little prop in the center here, so you can actually tilt it up just to shed the rain in certain directions, make sure it goes towards the edge instead of piling up on it. And it is a thicker canvas with like a reflective material, so it's gonna be a lot cooler under here in the summertime. So it just makes it a little bit nicer, especially for, you know, off-grid adventure vehicle. So the back of the EKKO, you're gonna have 2 cameras mounted on the top of up here. So you'll have a rear view camera whenever you're backing up or reverse, anything like that. But you'll also have the second camera that's for your digital rear view mirror. So that one will always be on, and it'll display about a car length out behind it. On the back, you're gonna have your main storage bay. So this is the center action, or the center entrance for that rear storage. You do have a handle back here, so this is gonna be the easiest one to get into if it's been sitting for a while and those seals get nice and tight and you want a little bit less effort to go. We do have the power cord stored back here for now. Feel free to put it wherever you want once it's yours. We just try to make things easily accessible to get to, but this gives you the full extent of it. If you're not gonna put any perishables or anything back here that's gonna freeze, every vent back here and on the inside is gonna have a little baffle on there, so that way you can turn it off and force heat to other locations of the motorhome if you want cooler spots, warmer spots, or anything like that. There is one designated in the bedroom, so a lot of people will close that one off because they like to sleep cooler in the room but have the rest of the camper still protected. You'll have a rear ladder back here. So that rear ladder goes up to the roof. What's on the roof on this is a max air fan. We'll see that on the inside. You'll have the AC, a digital antenna, a bunch of solar up there, and there's also a luggage rack. So the luggage rack, you can use it for storage, but if you start putting stuff up there, you're gonna start impeding with the solar that's up there. I think it's about 535 watts of solar on the roof of the Mercedes EKKO. So you'll have a lot of electrical capacities there, and you don't wanna block that off just for a little bit of extra storage. So the passenger side, it's gonna be the final compartment for getting in here. Nothing different, just a different viewing angle of it. And then you'll have your water bay. So in the water bay, you're gonna have your gray tank drain, you're gonna have your winterized outlets, you'll have a couple little hanging spots on the door and in here, satellite and cable input connections, a hot and cold outside shower, a little light up above it, as well as the heat vent. So right now I have the heat on just to take the chill out of the inside right now because it was a little cooler this morning, but it is pumping hot air into this compartment right now. You'll have a gravity fill up above and then a fresh water right here. So that's if you want to hook it up to city water. You can use the city water to fill your fresh tank or just have it where it's pressurizing the lines and not filling the fresh tank. Depends on what your needs are at that specific campsite. This is going to be all metal up above, so you don't have to worry about corrosion or anything on that. And then down below is going to be all plastic. So if you do get any mess or anything down here or store messier items, you can open that black portion and just rinse this out with a hose. That way it can stay nice and clean and also keeps it easy to clean. Next portion, you're going to have the vent for the Truma furnace. That's going to be your Truma Vario. You'll have your power. So you do have a green indicator light right here when you're plugged into shore power. That's just showing you it's clean. You'll have a solar hookup right here if you wanted to do additional suitcase solar. And then you also have the vent for the freshwater tank so it can burp itself while it's while you're filling that fresh tank, and you don't have to worry about warping the tank. Down below here, you're gonna have your LP generator. So it's gonna be a 2,500 watt LP generator. It is tied into those tanks that we saw, and then there is a switch out here to turn it on, as well as a switch inside. So there's a couple different ways you can turn it on depending on what systems have power or don't have power. Next, you're gonna have the cassette toilet. So the EKKOs opt for the cassette toilet because it is a 5-gallon removable toilet essentially. You will have where you can dump it, the little handle, the wheels. You can take it inside, dump it in the toilet, dump it in a porta potty, take it and dump it in the black tank. or like a actual dump station, just whatever your needs. If you're going to be doing any extended trips and you think 5 gallons is enough, you can get additional tanks, and you can just swap them out and store it wherever you want, put it in a trash bag, you know, just to make yourself feel more comfortable, but you can increase the capacities manually with that. And one of the other reasons for a cassette toilet too is this is a thick insulated, like rubber sealed door, so it's just going to help protect it from cold weather as well. Next compartment is going to be the whale pump. So whale pump in here, that is essentially a water sensing pump. So as water gets to it, it's going to sense that it's in there, and it's going to send it back to the gray tank, because your fresh and your gray tank are under the beds back there. This is a heated and insulated compartment, so that blue color down here is anodized aluminum that's going to help reflect that heat back inside. And there's also a designated heat vent in here just to keep it warm, so you don't have to think about this pump or worry about it, because if the furnace is on and the inside's at any kind of comfortable temperature, this compartment is going to be very, very warm, because it has the same amount of flow going to it, and it's in much, much smaller space than the inside of it. The next compartment is going to be one of the cool things that Winnebago is doing for us right now. So it used to be where you could get a generator, or you could get a single small battery, a 320 amp hour. You'd have to pick if you wanted a 630 with no generator, or if you wanted a generator with a 320. But right now we have a few of them where they're doing the 630 amp hour battery with the generator. So you're getting the best of both worlds and not have to go get that aftermarket battery to upgrade your electrical systems. So 630 amp hours with the amount of solar, the generator, the secondary alternator with the DC to DC charger. You have plenty of ways to keep your electrical charged up. And then really the only main amp draw in this battery is when you're camping in hot weather and you're doing the running your AC and stuff like that. So you'll have a lot of capacities, especially in the winter time where you're not pulling a whole lot of amps. So if you want to do those 1 week, 2 week long ski trips, your limiting resource is going to be your water, not your electrical. Down below here, you're going to have resettable breakers, as well as a 250 amp breaker for this battery. Lithium is a Winnebago brand, so you can connect your phone via Bluetooth to this battery to see what your output is, how long the battery is going to last based on your current usage, and to see the overall health of the battery. So it's a very, very cool system and very user-friendly. So last thing up here is just going to be the chassis cockpit. So in here, you're going to have heated memory seats, all that. All your light controls are going to be over here. The heated steering wheel is going to be on the side of the column for the Mercedes. You'll have all your lumbar and stuff on the side of the seat and towards the bottom. And then your diesel fill is going to be right here. So you have to open the door to get this, so you don't have to worry about anybody popping this open, siphoning diesel, or putting anything in your fuel tank. So just a little bit of extra safety there. All right, so that's gonna cover it for the exterior of this one, and now we'll go on to the inside. So the inside is one of the other main reason people buy the EKKOs. So most of our EKKO clientele are upgrading from B vans and stuff, so they just want a little bit more interior space and a lot more exterior storage, because most B vans don't have any storage. So right here, we'll start off with some of your main controls as you come in. So you'll have your awning controls right here for the light and extending and retracting the awning. You'll have a step control here, so if it's set to on, those steps will come in and out every single time that door opens and closes. You'll have a 12-volt disconnect, and then a bunch of your ceiling lights here, and then one of your outlets for the kitchen. So that's going to be what's mainly at your door when you walk in. So right now I have this one kind of set up as camp mode just because it's easier to walk around. So when the Mercedes EKKO is set more to camp mode, you'll have this couch here. I have the seat belts tucked away just so it's a little bit more aesthetic for the video. But then you also have this couch set up over here. So the 23B gives you more of an opposing living setup to where it's a little bit more comfortable when you have to be inside of it versus the Ford, where you just have the 2 jump seats and then a flip-up table there. So you see this pedestal down below. There's a table underneath, there's a pole underneath the bed right there, and then a table in the slot behind Jody. And you have a very large table, it's gonna be about this big, that has like a track system on the bottom of it. So you can move the table back and forth to adjust based on what your needs, or if you have larger people on one side, and if you have like the captain's chairs turned around. That way you can have 4 people sitting out here comfortably, and they're all in their own spaces instead of, you know, shoulder to shoulder like you have with a lot of other RVs. One of the other benefits about that table is when you have it down, there's a lip on both sides. And that table does make it where you can sleep a 3rd person in here without having to order the cab bed or the pop top. So that bed is actually very huge, because I'm about 5'9", 5'10" on a good day, and it's the whole width of this motorhome. So you can have someone, if they're not super wide, probably about 6'4", lay down in this bed and be comfortable, as long as they're not a super stocky person. That way you can have your taller people, or, you know, additional person stay with you and still be comfortable. All right, so we'll do overhead storage and stuff here. So in this front living area, you're gonna have a compartment up top. You're gonna have a felt pad in here. So that felt pad's gonna make it where things aren't sliding around, vibrating as much. And you do have those little, the hinges in the cabinet door right there just to hold it up. So just another little thing that they do, so you're not having to hold it up with your hand or with your head, just depending. And then they have the little latches right there, so it does not rattle and stuff going down the road. Below that, you'll have your first window, so we'll just cover this one since it's right here. So you have 3 latches on it, and since this one is a smaller one, you have a little prop rod right here. So they limit how much it opens, just so it doesn't get caught with that entry door when you open and close it. So just a little bit of safety feature there. You'll have the bug screen here, and then you'll also have the night shade here. So if you're doing some really cold weather camping, you can actually close up the window, and if you don't need the natural light, or if it's nighttime, you can close this night shade as well, and it'll act as an additional vapor barrier, just to give you 3 layers of insulation, because windows are always the weakest point of any RV. Up above that, or to the left of it a little bit, you'll have the overhead light for the TV and kind of your living room, outlet, USB A and C, and then another 12-volt plug. So you can have quite a few electronics or everything put in here. Put a little cargo net up here, or just set stuff down, just whatever your needs are going to be. Over here above the cab on the right side, so this is going to be kind of like your entertainment center. So you'll have a cable, satellite, outlet, HDMI port, and as well as an HDMI cord that's already ran to the TV. So if you want to put like a DVD player, Blu-ray player, PlayStation, anything like that, you can set that up there. You'll have, this one was option with the entertainment, so that's going to be your sound bar. That's going to be your interior speakers, if you choose to set that up, or it can be connected to your TV, and that'll be the better speaker for the TV. On the left side here, you're gonna have another insulated one. So once it gets actually cold here, since Colorado's kind of broken right now, and it's 70 degrees in December, we'll do a demo video of setting one of these up and prepped for like more of your winter weather. So this is gonna be a thick insulated quilt that button snaps all the way around here. So there's a magnet or a zipper in the center right here, and that's gonna block off this whole chassis portion. So obviously you can't have dual pane glass up here. So this is going to be that biggest loss for any temperature. And if you want to preserve like your battery power, your propane and stuff, you want to separate this area. And what I have seen other customers do is like the really, really hot days, they'll actually set this up behind the cab, and they'll just have the cab portion and the dash AC on, and they're just staying nice and cool up here and not having to worry about that hot air coming in from behind them. And the dash AC is actually, you know, just keeping them comfortable up top here. So we do shove this up in here, so you can see how big that blanket is, and it's fitting up here pretty easily. So it just goes to show like how big this little compartment is, even though it doesn't look like it has a lot of storage space up there. So back to the driver's side over here, you're gonna have another outlet, another 12-volt, and then more USB A and C plugs. You'll have the bigger window on this side. So this one we can actually demonstrate like the different levels of locking on it. So you can get a lot of cross bees and airflow going through this motorhome. Up above, you're gonna have a larger storage compartment. They put a metal brace in here so you can put even more capacity in there. You'll have a little leather piece that matches. That's meant to go behind this. That way, over time, when people are leaning on this, it's not gonna wear out the back of this. You're just gonna put it behind that, and there's little magnets that keep it in place. You'll have your Winnebago owner's manuals in here. So that'll give you all the different components in here, as well as just the general owner's manuals on the EKKO. When this seat here, so when you're in travel mode, you'll have these two pieces sitting here, and you'll get rid of these two. This table will actually flip up, and you'll have like a little workstation here, and then it's 3-point harness there. So if you need a car seat or a seat belt, anything like that, you can have that spot. Okay. All right. So the next portion is going to be pretty much your kitchen and bathroom areas. So right now I have this compartment over up just to kind of see all the different electrical going on. Starting up high, you're gonna have outlet with USB up there. There's gonna be a roof access port, so if you wanted to tie in Starlink or get a roof mounted Starlink, you can put all the internal stuff in here, run the cord up to the outer part of the Starlink, and have it all tied in and tucked away here. You'll have your solar charge controller here, your different tank levels, your generator, your power settings here, and then another way to turn on and off your inverter from here. Below that, you're gonna have a 12-volt compressor-driven fridge. So you'll have a couple shelves inside, a drawer down below, some storage in the door itself, and then a nice little chest freezer up above. And for ease sake, we're just gonna do the bathroom now since it's still in the middle. So you'll have this door. You'll have a shower curtain for when you're using it in shower mode. So right now, it's set up for where it's your actual bathroom. So you'll have your sink, a mirror, hot and cold right there, little washcloth hanger, and then you'll have a storage compartment up above the toilet. So you'll have a little bit of shelf, and then there's also a window in here and an outlet. So the toilet down here is going to be cassette toilet. So this actually is mounted on a swivel, so you can adjust the toilet if you need to, depending on like how much room you need or anything like that. And then what's cool about this is Winnebago sets it up to where this is also the shower. So it's a very, very good use of space. A lot of the times it makes a lot of the wives happier about getting an EKKO, just because they're not actually, they're in the same area as a toilet, but they're not showering over the toilet. It gives you a little bit of degree of separation. They put a couple more like hangers if you want to put a towel and stuff in here. You get the bamboo flooring as well as the plastic underneath, so you're not just standing directly on the dirty water that you're using. But you'll also have the oxygenic shower up here, so you have a good amount of water pressure, but you can turn that water on and off without having to waste it. And then you do have a shower curtain here to block off the door the rest of the way, and it kind of will enclose this top portion there and protect like the woods and stuff in here, so you're not just completely saturating them. So the next portion is going to be your kitchen area. So you'll have a nice big storage spot up above the microwave. You'll have a convection microwave. So convection is very similar to ovens. You hit convection, hit the temperature, it's an oven, but it will cook like a convection oven. So it has the little fan in there circulating the air around. So it will be a little bit faster than like your old RV ovens and stuff. You'll have two shelves in here. They are adjustable. So if you want to put smaller or larger items in here, you can divide it up however you need. Your countertops below, so you'll have nice big countertop, removable sink covers in here, and then more of a residential sprayer, and then a nice big bowl sink that is also deep, so if you want to just pile up some dishes in there instead of having to wash every single plate you use every time you use it, you can let a little bit of mess pile up just so you don't have to deal with it at that moment every time. Your cooktop, so it's going to be a removable induction cooktop. They store it in this drawer just so it doesn't move around too much. It is a little bit harder to get it in and out of this drawer. So a lot of times I like to put it in the second drawer. You can feel free to put it wherever you want. There's an outlet on the front, outlet over here, and you can also take this outside and cook outside if you want. The second drawer is just going to be storage. We put the remotes in here, so they're just all in one convenient spot. And this third drawer is going to be a nice bit deeper storage, and you also have your countertop extension. So that countertop extension is going to go over top of this. You'll close it up a little bit, and then you kind of have like an L-shaped prep space just to give you a little bit more work area to prep any foods or anything like that, just depending on what your needs are at the time. Down below, you're going to have 2 cabinet doors, good amount of storage back here. So right now we have it winterized, so there'd be a water filter hanging right here. We saw that in the sink. But yeah, that's where that would go, and you still have a nice deep amount of storage. So the table we talked about. So this is the table with that track system that you saw, so you can move it back and forth and up and down depending on what your needs are. That way you can give more room on one side or the other. And it is a very large table. If you've seen any of our other EKKO videos, you can see how big it is. The bedroom area, so we'll just show this right now just because it's easier to do out here. This curtain is, you can latch it all the way across, so that's going to create like a little zone. So you'll have a designated heat vent in the bedroom back here. So you can open or close that baffle in there. Separate this, that way you can have a little bit colder or warmer of an area and, you know, be more comfortable while you're sleeping, or be warmer while you're sleeping while up here is colder. It just depends on whatever, what your preference is. So in the back bedroom here, you're gonna have a twin bed setup in the EKKO 23B. In the Mercedes, it is a couple inches longer, so the taller people like that more. So this will be one of the few without the covers on them right now. So what's cool is you can see the WinSleep bed. They call it Reprieve. And it's a multi-layer memory foam bed, and it's actually one of the few beds that come from the factory that's comfortable to sleep on. A lot of RV customers know you can spend, you know, $1 million on an RV and the bed still sucks and you have to buy your own. This will be one of the cases where it's actually pretty comfortable from the factory, and that does not happen often. So back here in the bedroom, we'll look at the storage first. So underneath the bed, you're gonna have the Frawley sleep system. So that's gonna pick the bed up. It's gonna help keep the mattress cool, as well as eliminate any condensation that may accumulate in the mattress. You don't get any mold, bacteria, anything like that. But it's also gonna help alleviate pressure points. So it's just gonna make that bed a little bit more comfortable while sleeping on it. Underneath that, this does flip up. You're gonna have a storage. So right now, since we just winterized this, the steel panel that's right there, you'll have an access that you normally won't see right now. So you'll see a little bit of the electrical components and some of the water components going on right there. You'll have hanging storage down here, access to the water pump down below there. This is gonna be a compartment door, so you can access this from either way. And you'll also have a drawer here too. So couple different ways to get into this space depending on what you need to do. The passenger side, it's going to be the same thing. So in here you'll have the cabinet door, the drawer. You'll have a hidden cubby back here, so you can put guns, jewelry, anything like that that you don't want just to be very apparent that's there. That's going to be there. The only way to access that is if you know the bed lifts up. You can't access that from the drawers, the compartment door, or anything outside. So in this spot, you can see the pedestal for the table. And then you'll see a couple of the accessories that Winnebago sends you from the factory. So that's going to be the outdoor sprayer, partial sewer hose, and a couple things in there. So in the bed portion up here, so you'll have this middle mattress portion. So this is gonna act as like your nightstand. It's hard to see through the plastic, but this is a composite layer up here. You'll have 2 drink holders there, as well as a little centerpiece. And then you'll have this big section there where you can set stuff on. So to make, if you and whoever still like to cuddle, sleep together, or even taller than the length of this, you can actually take this center portion, put it in the middle there, and it'll make it a larger bed for you. So you can sleep sideways in here and get even more length, because it'll be that length that you saw up front. So if you're 6'4", 6'5", anything like that, you can fit in here a lot more comfortably. All right. So the last portion of the bedroom is going to be your overhead storage. So you're going to have compartment door on each side. So on the driver's side over here, you're going to have even more power. So you'll have power in the center, USB, 12-volt 110, a little cubby here so you can run any power cords down through there, stick them in the nightstand, but you'll also have power over in here. So if you want to charge a laptop for the night, iPad, anything that you might need, you can put that there as well. In the back bedroom, you're going to have two very large windows on both sides, so you can get a good cross breeze and a whole lot of airflow back here. So it just makes it more comfortable, especially if you're camping up in the mountains in the summertime. For creature comfort, you do have a prep for a TV back here, so you do have the cable as well as the 110 outlet. So you can mount it onto that wall, or you can just do a little iPad hanger and put it up there. I have one of those in my Xterra that I use, and it works. I don't want to put a TV in the Xterra. All right, so the last two things are going to be in the ceiling that we cover before we get to the chassis. So if you look up, you do have a low profile AC on the inside. The old versions used to be a little bit thicker, so again, taller people, it's just a little bit more friendly. It is a ducted AC versus a lot of the competitors are not going to be ducted. They're just going to be a central dump. So each of the vents is where that AC will flow to, and it's going to make it that much more comfortable throughout the whole thing and evenly cool all of it. And then right above Jody is going to be your max air fan. So that max air fan is going to be your 12-volt attic fan, essentially. So you can open up all those windows, turn that on, set it to a temperature that you want with that remote in the drawer, and get all of the fresh air and comfortable. Especially, you can use that while you're cooking, taking showers, or just you want fresh natural air. So it just makes it a little bit nicer in there. So last portion, we'll just do a quick overview of the chassis. So it's going to be the 2025 Mercedes chassis. You'll have the digital rear view mirror up here. You're going to have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You'll have your different...
You have not subscribed to this service.
You'll have your cameras that you can see on the rear view. On there, you can have your navigation, radio controls, telephone, the home button, so if you want to navigate all of it manually. You'll have the Mercedes controls there, so you have the downhill speed controls, lane keeping assist, power and seats all going to be there. You have the automatic climate control, so that's for like in a lot of newer cars, so just a little bit more creature comforts there. Overhead, you're going to have 3 storage cubbies, so 2 just storage on the left and the right, and then the center is going to be USB-C wireless charging as well as 12-volt. You'll have fresh air vents up here, so these are all always be a blend of the fresh air. That way you're getting air from the outside. Obviously, if you're driving through like downtown Denver or something, close those. And then the last section up here is going to be the updated steering wheel. So you'll have all the steering wheel controls. They're more of haptic feedbacks and like touch and slide. You can still press all the buttons and stuff depending on what you need. Your adaptive cruise controls as well as the cluster display or cluster controls are going to be on the left side. Your push to talk and volume controls as well as controlling that display are going to be on the right side. Your shifter is going to be on the right stick of the column. Your blinkers, high beams, and wipers are going to be on the left. You'll have paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel. And you can go through and play with all the different features in here to make it comfortable and make it suit your needs and your driving habits. But that's pretty much going to be it. So this has been 26 Winnebago EKKO in the new Granite Ridge color. If you guys have any questions about this one, feel free to contact me. My name is Justin Rogers, and my cell is 404-936-6215, and my email is justin.rogers@transwest.com. See you guys in the next one.